Yeah. Don't be bashful.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Yeah, it's working.
Yeah, that's still working for you.
Watch out, your bad ankle.
Good morning. Welcome to the decommissioning ceremony for the Missouri State Penitentiary. We're here to honor an institution that's served Missouri for 168 years and the staff that worked behind these walls all those years. If you will please rise, we'll have the color guard. Please present the colors, please.
Good morning. I'm Gary Kemper. I'm the Director of the Missouri Department of Corrections, and I certainly want to welcome each of you here this morning, and particularly Governor Holden and our distinguished guests. As we move along this morning, we have, of course, everyone here, as far as I'm concerned, is a dignitary and certainly deserving of recognition, but we do have some in attendance I'd like to bring to your attention. Some are here and some may not have arrived yet, but Senator John Cawthorn was going to be here. Senator Maida Coleman, Senator Clint, Senator Quick. These are all members of the Joint Committee on Corrections. Senator Carl Vogel is here. Senator, thank you. Representative Mark Bruns is here. Thank you for being here. Representative Danielle Moore. Also, we have some former superintendents of this institution joining us this morning. Honored to have Mr. Bill Armitrout and Mr. Michael Gruss. Also want to welcome the members of the Redevelopment Commission that may be present. I understand Bob Myers here. Saw him earlier. Bob. Mark Schreiber is here. And Jim Wonderland. We're also joined by County Commissioners Bob Jones, Mike Fork, and Sheriff George Brooks. Before I introduce some of the other guests to say a few words, again, I want to thank you for being here. This is a very historical and memorial day. You know, about 168 years ago, this institution became a major part of the state's public safety effort. And today, officially, it will be decommissioned as a part of the Missouri Department of Corrections. You know, this institution has for many years been considered the flagship of the Missouri Department of Corrections. And as you think about that, or as I thought about that, it's certainly not because it's the most modern of facilities. Certainly not because the design is great for a correctional institution. Certainly not because it's the most efficient operation in the state. But I really believe that this has been the flagship of the Missouri Department of Corrections because of the people that worked here over the years. Literally thousands of Missourians have been employed here and worked here to preserve the safety of this state through its correctional efforts. 9 officers gave their lives working behind the walls of the Missouri State Penitentiary. Countless officers have been injured over the years of its operation. As we retire this facility, it's my hope that we not retire the many memories and the dedicated service that so many staff have given to their years here at this institution. It's an honor for me now to introduce a number of speakers who will make remarks. First of all, Senator Carl Vogel, local district.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here. I want to speak for Jefferson City and Central Missouri. Anytime I talk about this institution and the new institution, I would be remiss if I did take time to thank the late Governor Mel Carnahan. It was under his administration that he had the foresight to do what should have been done probably 40 years ago, to make the difficult decision to close this institution, which was outdated for many reasons, and then to give the community of Jefferson City an opportunity to relocate that facility without going through the normal process of communities coming in saying, hey, we want to take an opportunity to take this prison away from Central Missouri. Then I need to thank Governor Bob Holden, because under his administration, he followed through with the game plan to continue the discussions and do the language which enabled the Prison Redevelopment Commission to become reality, which very soon will take ownership of these 150 acres and determine what to do with it. One of the most exciting things that has happened to Jefferson City in a long time. September 15th, history will tell you that on that day, the Missouri Senate said farewell to 12 employees with almost 12 senators with almost 300 years of experience. But I want to remember September 15th as the day that the Department of Corrections, with the assistance of numerous law enforcement agencies, in reality closed a city of almost 1,200 people and relocated it to the new site. And they did that without any disruption of Jefferson City's daily business. They did it without incident. And I just want to publicly acknowledge everyone that had anything to do with that historic day. It was a well-kept secret. You knew it was going to happen. We had had a committee tour of the new prison scheduled that week because of veto session, and it was canceled. And actually, I think I was tipped off because they placed an unusual order of Coca-Cola for a special event that they had. And so you may want to check on that next time you relocate a prison. But I hope that September 15th will be a day that we won't forget because of what the Department of Corrections did to close this institution and relocate the new. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator. Please introduce Representative Mark Bruns.
Thank you very much, Gary. It's a very great honor to be here today, to be invited to speak here. Having this institution in my district has been quite an experience for me, and I want to echo what Senator Vogel said in thanking Governor Holden for allowing us to follow through on the plan to complete the new prison and to make the move there and to allow what can be one of the most exciting economic development ventures in Jefferson City here at this institution that has happened in a long time. In a way, it's kind of sad today that we close this institution, but that sadness, I think, is mixed with great joy because of the fact that we can do so many things with this to develop the economy of Jefferson City and Cole County. The old adage, I've said it here before, out of sight, out of mind, is what we think a lot about corrections. And as long as the public doesn't hear, doesn't see about the corrections department, that's fine with them most of the time. But here lately, corrections has been in the limelight with the opening of the new prison, and I think deservedly so. They need to be in the limelight for the great job they have done in making the move, in developing a wonderful new facility, and in giving us the opportunity to turn this into something new and something treasured for Jefferson City. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. We're also joined by the chairman of the Joint Committee on Corrections, Representative Danielle Moore.
Thank you, Director Kemper. I would like to talk about our state employees for the last 168 years. It is amazing when you serve on the Joint Committee and you go into all of our correctional facilities and see how well they are run, how humane, how up to date, the educational opportunities that are afforded our offenders so that they can be rehabilitated. After all, 97% of our offenders will be our neighbors someday. And the charge that our staff, our corrections officers, all of the employees in DOC have to do the ultimate, and that is the ultimate public safety. Keep those folks behind bars and get them rehabilitated so that they can be productive citizens is an unbelievable task, but they have done it well, and they have done it so well here under sometimes very difficult circumstances for 168 years. This is not state-of-the-art here, and yet we had state-of-the-art programs going on within these walls. And so the people of Jefferson City and the people of Missouri can be very proud of what happened here at Missouri State Penitentiary. And I just want to personally thank everyone who has served, some of them giving the ultimate, their lives, 9 people who died here, and everyone else who gave of their lives serving here so well. And thank you for having me, and thank you for honoring MSP and those who have served here.
Thank you, Representative. Before I introduce Governor Holden, one thing I wanted to maybe try to make a point is, as you look around this yard and you look around at these housing units, it's very obvious that part of the job in corrections is about incarceration. And unfortunately, that's the biggest part that people see and they think our responsibility is. I was asked not too long ago, said, Director Kemper, how many guards do you have? And I said, well, we don't have any. And they said, well, how many offenders do you have? And I said, well, we've got over 30,000 offenders. And he said, you don't have any guards? And I said, no, we don't have any guards. We've got corrections officers and we've got corrections professionals, but we don't have any guards. What goes on in these institutions is so much more than just incarceration. As the representative mentioned, today we have about 30,000 people incarcerated in the state of Missouri. 97% of those are someday going to go home. And our job, in addition to incarceration, is to prepare them for that change. I mentioned earlier that there had been lives saved, and I'm going to tell a very brief story, and Superintendent Gruss is here, and he probably doesn't even know this, but I was at a meeting in St. Louis recently, and I was approached by an individual, introduced himself to me as a former offender. And he asked me, he said, do you know Mike Gruss? And I said, yeah, sure do, known him for years. And he said, well, you know, Mike Gruss was a caseworker of mine back a long time ago, and I've been out of prison for 16 years. And I want to tell you, Mike Gruss saved my life. Because if it were not for him taking an interest in some of the issues and problems I had and helping me, I'd either be dead today or I'd be in prison. So when we talk about changing lives and saving lives, it's not always the heroics that you see in the newspaper, it's the things that go on, and I'm sure Mr. Gruss never even knew that that story was being told out in the public. This is an important work that we're charged with, and it's so much more than incarceration. And that's why I'm pleased to introduce the governor of this state, because throughout his tenure as governor of this state, he has seen what corrections is about. He has been supportive of the educational and all the work that needs to be done to save taxpayers' money, and do the best job we can for public safety in this state. I'm very honored to introduce the governor of the state, Bob Holden.
Thank you very much, Gary, for your comments and, more importantly, for your leadership. You truly have been an individual that's led corrections in this state, and I appreciate your thoughts and your vision, knowing full well that just housing people does not solve a problem. Our job is actually to help them solve those problems. Also, I'd like to challenge the Redevelopment Commission. They've been given a piece of property that allows them to truly add another anchor to downtown Jefferson City. The Capitol on one end, this site on the other, gives them an opportunity to redevelop and to rebuild downtown Jefferson City. I want to see it happen. It's a pleasure for me to be here today. Almost a month ago, I watched with pride as a team of correctional professionals achieved an impressive task with professionalism and efficiency. Staff members from 18 of our correctional centers, working closely with area law enforcement officials, such as our Missouri State Highway Patrol, the local Sheriff's Department, and Jefferson City Police Department, successfully transported over 1,300 maximum security inmates from the Missouri State Penitentiary to the new Jefferson City Correctional Center. Missouri's correctional professionals completed this task, and a dangerous task it was, in less than 8 hours, ensuring the safety and security of the public throughout the process. I also want to acknowledge and appreciate the leadership of the House and the Senate to allow this process to continually move forward. Thank you very much, Senators and Representatives, for your effort. As we gather here today to say final goodbye to this institution, for the last time after nearly 17 decades of service, I could not help but think about the quality people we have and have had in the past working for our Department of Corrections. From the correctional officers who received the first inmates here at the Missouri State Penitentiary, up until the final offenders moved out on September the 15th of this year, Missouri's correctional staff has been one of our state's most valued assets. So today, as we take a last look at the famous walls that secured some of society's most dangerous individuals for the past century and a half, let us remember the generations of dedicated correctional staff whose hard work has made us safer. Let us give them a hand. And let us take a solemn moment to remember the 7 Missouri correctional officers and others who have been injured and gave of their life so that we can stand here today as a free and safer society. That is part of the history of this institution. Lori and I toured this facility a week ago, and while the corridors and the cells and the grounds are now empty of people, they are full of memories. To take a walk through Missouri State Penitentiary is to stroll through decades of our state's history, because the two are so closely connected. When the first inmate was received at this institution, our state itself was only 15 years old. Andrew Jackson was President of the United States, and the Alamo was under siege. For decades, Missouri State Penitentiary was the only correctional institution in our state. Books and magazine stories were published about life inside these walls. And I hope if you have not seen the publication put out by the department or others, read them. We have a fascinating history at this institution. At least one movie has been made in this facility. It's an institution that will always have its own unique place in our state's rich past. Now that the Missouri State Penitentiary is officially part of our past, let us not forget the critical role it played in the safety of our state for so many years. Let us never forget the dedicated people who worked here, nor must we ever forget the committed people who continue to perform this difficult and demanding and sometimes dangerous service. A correctional facility is only as good as the people who work there. Clearly, the people who work here have been outstanding in our era. And as we say goodbye to the past to this institution, we look forward to a new era that will keep our citizens safer and even more secure. I appreciate the leadership of the department, the leadership of this institution, and all of the people that in the past and today work in our correctional facilities. They truly have a very difficult task in the most dangerous of circumstances. Let's give them all a big hand. Let me now say as now therefore, I, Bob Holden, Governor of the State of Missouri, do hereby honor and decommission Missouri State Penitentiary and recognize the critical role it has played in the public safety of our state for over a century and a half. It is now decommissioned.
Thank you, Governor. We appreciate your support and assistance over the years, and the many people that have worked in this institution greatly appreciate your efforts to make this possible, to close this institution and create a safer environment for our employees as well as the offenders. I would like to present you with this Folger Adams key that is used in the institution to open and close doors, and we'd appreciate if you'd take that as a small token of our appreciation. You know, over the years of the institution, one of the most treasured tokens for people that have served this institution, this state, is a piece of the rock. And it is all fitting that we present the governor of the state of Missouri with this piece of the rock for his solid support of this department and public safety in this state for many years. Thank you, Governor. We also have small tokens for the other honored guests that are here. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Mr. Dorman.
Yes, if you'll please stand for the retiring of the colors, please. Governor Holden and Director Kemper, at the closing of this historic prison and on behalf of the staff of the Missouri State Penitentiary, we ask that you accept these colors with our gratitude for your support and your commitment to public safety. concludes our ceremony. Thank you all for coming. We have some refreshments in housing unit number 4 right behind you. Please join us there. And we'll be doing some tours here right after this. Thank you all very, very much.